Yo, hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again. Welcome back. I am like super over the top excited to share with you guys a brand new chess set. And hopefully you guys are going to be just as excited as I am. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you think this is going to be a really cool chess set. So about a year ago or so, if you guys remember, for those of you guys who watch my videos regularly, I have done a review video of the World Chess Championship chess set, the Plastic Academy edition. At the time, I remember I received a lot of positive feedback from you guys, a lot of comments saying that you guys love this particular chess set, but you also wanted to see if maybe I could do a review of the official World Chess Championship chess set, since there's a lot of people out there that are watching the World Championship tournaments and things like that, the Grandmasters play. There was a lot of interest in having me review that particular chess set. So at that time, I remember, as much as I wanted to do that particular video, first of all, the chess set, the World Chess Championship chess set, was a little bit on the pricey side at the time. Also, I was making reviews of some of the other chess sets, so it just sort of didn't come to pass at that time as much as a lot of you guys wanted to see that. Well, today we have that chess set. So like I said, be sure, don't forget, if you click out early, be sure to at least leave the thumbs up button. It really helps these videos. So we're going to be taking a look at the World Chess Championship chess set. This guy right over here, a lot of you guys are familiar with this box. If you're not familiar with the box, at least you are familiar with this sort of a hexagonal little emblem right over here. So this is the chess set that is used by all like the official, at least I know it's in the United States. Every time I see like the Grandmasters play, they will play with these particular chess pieces. To top it off, double like for this video if that's possible, we're going to be looking at the board, the official World Chess Championship chess set board, that you can purchase this as a set from this company. I will leave you guys a link below. I think this particular package, the pieces and the board, retails somewhere close to about $600. But for that price tag, you get quality board, wooden board, and quality wooden pieces that basically will give you the same exact setup as the World Chess Championships, like the Grandmasters, Magnus, and all the other ones. So without further ado, we're gonna like unpackage this stuff together. I actually started unpackaging it as I tried to do this video a couple of days ago, but my camera, being that it's new, was kind of giving me some like things that I didn't understand. Plus I was doing it in the evening and basically I just had to throw that video away. But so I started unfolding some of the pieces, as you guys will see here shortly. But for the most part, I left everything sort of closed up because I wanted to still have the opportunity to share it with you as if like I'm unboxing it for the first time, which I will be, to share with you guys that reaction, that emotional sort of, that emotional feeling that you guys will get from me opening up these chess pieces, and hopefully you guys will be excited with me. This particular chess set, a lot of you guys were interested in that. I will leave you guys a link below for this particular one as well. Alrighty, so in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look, unbox these pieces together. Then we're going to unbox the board, and then we're going to set them up. I'm going to show you and talk to you guys about the weight and the specifications of these pieces. Hopefully I will kind of bestow upon you my opinion and my take on how these chess pieces feel. Kind of give you guys as best as I can my representation, so that, and that's most of the time when I make these videos, that's what I try to achieve, as much as I have the limitation of just showing you these on the camera, to be able to help you guys, in case for those of you guys who might be looking at this particular chess set, to sort of convey best I could whether or not I feel like this chess set's worth it or not. And that's what we're going to find out in this video, so stay tuned. I'm also going to unbox back up the World Chess Championship Academy chess set, the plastic ones, and we're going to actually set these pieces side by side, because I know when I was doing the previous video on the plastic chess pieces, a lot of people were saying the arrangement, the shape of the pieces is very much so different from the official one. And at that time I did look at the pictures and kind of compared it, but it's not until we have both of the sets that we'll be able to actually take a look and see whether that's the case or not, and how much of a difference are we actually going to see. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and open these pieces up and we're gonna take a look. This is what we have, the World Chess Championship chess pieces. Officially approved by the FIDE, International Chess Federation. Pretty awesome. The box itself is really quite nicely made. You can see that the shapes of the pieces is kind of laid out here on the side. It's a very sort of I guess you could call it minimalistic as far as like the design of the box, but at the same time I feel like they've included just enough information for us to kind of get an idea as far as what to expect inside this box itself. The way that you have to sort of open it is that you almost kind of like have like a book cover. See how it like comes out like this? So we're gonna go ahead and remove this part, and then this sort of stays out. Like once you've purchased the box and whatnot, I guess you don't leave it in this unless you prefer to do it that way, because the box that's inside, which is this box right here, is actually really sturdy. I guess they designed this box so that you keep your pieces inside here. That's probably the best place to keep them, unless of course you have some kind of other like a chess bag or something that you would prefer to keep it in. The box top actually kind of has a lot of resistance when you're sliding it, as you guys can see right over here. And then finally inside we have quite a really nice shipping. Everything's nice and bubble wrapped, bubble taped. As you guys can see, I've already opened up a couple of pieces here, which I will show you shortly. But everything as far as packaging goes is packaged really nicely. You have the dark pieces separated by this sort of middle section here, the dark pieces, the light pieces. And yeah, so let me guys start by showing you guys these sort of pieces right over here. It's gonna be kind of tricky for me because it's sort of upside down, but yeah, here's the knight. One of the really cool things that I've immediately noticed about the knight is just the sort of the really sharp angulation that you see between the body of the horse and then going upwards right over here towards the head. This is probably as sharp as I've seen with any of my chess pieces. The Hungarian chess set was kind of similar, but not as sharp. Also the lines here. The simplicity of the knight, like no features on the face, just a couple of cuts. Obviously the design, it took a lot of time to design these pieces because these chess pieces were designed to be played at an official tournament chess level. Obviously there wasn't like just a quick minute decision upon the design. This design had to be probably approved by different people. So we're seeing essentially what an aesthetic and functional ideal may look like from the world chess tournaments, the FIDE and everybody. This is what they've sort of concluded would be the best chess set for these type of official tournament events. The Dark Knight here, kind of the same way. So check this out. They're so cool. Look at that. I love all these cuts because you know what makes the cuts reflect light in a certain different way. Like I have natural light coming in from the window, and just like check this out. Like this is so cool. Another thing I wanted to mention is that unlike most of the time where in chess pieces we see that the underside felt is green, here the underside of the light pieces right over here is light, but the underside of the dark pieces is going to be dark. So that's kind of cool to see. You don't normally see this type of attention to detail, but the felt is really quite nice actually. It's not super thick. I don't think it's going to fray, because like when the felt is way too thick, it's going to, you know, you're kind of afraid that it's going to create some issues. But in this case, like I think that the felt looks really nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other pieces. I'm not going to take too much time as far as unboxing this. The only reason why I really wanted to show you this particular thing is that I wanted to show you the packaging arrangement and kind of give you guys that idea. Yeah, here's the rook. The rook is also kind of interesting because as we see right over here, most of the time we don't see this. Like, do you guys see this sort of separation right over here, this line? It's actually thicker than this top part of that rook. It kind of comes out a little bit, and the overall shape here creates this really interesting design to where no rook that I have, no other rook is this particular shape. And I think that the one thing that separates this rook from any of my other rooks is this extra line that sort of extends out from the boundaries of the top portion of the rook. It's a little more slender than most of my other rooks, but we will see when this chess set is set up together how it looks and how these pieces sort of blend in with each other as far as their shape and their color. Check the bishop out. Once again, just like the rook, we kind of have this sort of extending little bit of a border here. And also kind of the slender shape, very similar to the rook. The top is a little bit different. We can see that this top portion here is a little bit more bulbous, and then the very top little point is actually emphasized in this particular chess set. These aesthetic ideas, aesthetic decisions, it's kind of interesting to see which way they went with this. Now the queen does look a little bit different from some of the other queens we've seen. As you guys can see right over here, the top part is designed in such a way that it's not pointy, it's not sharp. Of the top here, it still extends outward quite a bit. So if you look at it from this perspective, it does look like the queen's got these sort of sharp edges. But if we look at the top, that changes. It kind of looks a little bit different, as you guys can see. Perfect. Very good. The king actually looks kind of cool. Different, definitely different from many of the other kings we've seen. The little cuts here on the top almost make it look kind of like you would expect a queen to look. So I got these little cuts, and then we never really see cuts like this on a king on most of my other chess pieces. So this is a little bit unusual, but it still looks very aesthetic. And then the very top here, you don't really have a cross, but you have this sort of just a shape and then a little pointy top right over here, which is also really nice to see. We'll take a look at these pieces up close a little bit here in just a minute. It's interesting to see the pawn top. If we look at it from the little head of the pawn right over here, the ball, it almost feels like the bottom part of it's sort of wedged in. And like a lot of times we see that when they sort of have these pawns, they kind of have this area where the ball comes down pretty much all the way, and you can almost see where the ball ends. But in here, it almost kind of feels like it's been smushed a little bit into this part. But the overall shape of the piece also kind of goes really well with the other pieces. So yeah, it's a nice pawn. On the bottom of the box, you actually have this sort of a foam, this hard foam with these little cutout shapes, and basically these spaces here where you can put your pieces into these spaces. And when you do put them in, you kind of have to push them in sort of hard into them. It's not like they go in there just standing, but the upside to that is that once you put them in kind of like this, they actually will not sort of fall out. See, like I'm putting them to the side and they sort of stay there. See, they're not like moving around or anything. The only thing that I notice is that although maybe with time, as the foam becomes a little bit more pliable, we will notice that it's easier to put the pieces in. But when you initially have to put the pieces in, I feel like you have to really push them in there, which I don't think is a problem, honestly. And probably the way that the chess company is intending to have you store these pieces is probably like this. This is probably approximately what these pieces are going to look like once you sort of set them all up in the box like this. And they look really nice. This arrangement here is sort of characteristic to this particular company. And whenever you see a setup that's kind of similar to this, you know that this is this particular company. So I really like it. It's a great idea. It looks very aesthetic. It keeps your pieces from sort of hitting each other, and overall it's really nice. Once you put the box over the top of it, you can keep it on the shelf or wherever you intend to keep it, and you know wherever it is that you plan to store this chess set that it's going to be kept nice, and you don't have to worry about it really kind of getting damaged or anything like that. So you can definitely, given that this box is really nice and sturdy, at least the outsiders of it, the middle part here is kind of not as sturdy, but then again, you don't really need this part to be sturdy. It just sort of creates a separation visually, more so than anything. It doesn't provide protection because these pieces, you know, they're not gonna hit against each other. So that's nice. So let's go ahead and open up the board. We'll take a look at that. We'll set up the pieces and then we'll compare this particular chess set to the plastic one. You can always, if you do so desire, or if you already have a chessboard that you enjoy playing on and you don't need to get a separate chessboard, you can always purchase this particular chess set by itself. And you know, you'll get the really cool pieces that are played in the official World Chess Championships. Awesome. But if you don't have a board, or if you really want to get the whole package so that the pieces on the board will be made by the same company with the same emblem and everything, you may as well go ahead and consider getting the combo, since in the combo you're going to at least be able to save a little bit of money. Since most of the time when you get the combo, it saves you a few dollars here and there. This is the board. This is the board that I'm really excited to show you guys. There's actually, within this board, there's this sort of a little cutout here where you can actually see the way the board looks. The board itself is in like this thick protective plastic. By the way, when everything came, it came packaged really nicely to where I felt like if you're, you know, getting this product shipped to you, you're not really going to be worrying about, hopefully, about it being damaged during shipping or anything like that. So that was nice to see. Okay, so here we go. This is the actual board. And we're gonna go ahead and open it up. Kind of open it like a pizza box, like this. And we open up and take the board out. Alrighty. This is the actual board. Really cool. Let's take a closer look. We're gonna take it out of the packaging. Very awesome. And this is the actual board. Check this out, guys. This is a really nice board. Look at that. All wood material. This is the board that they play on in the official chess tournaments. Really cool. I'm proud and super happy to be able to actually hold this board in my hands. This one wasn't like signed by Magnus or anything, but it's still really nice. The back side of the board, as you guys can also see, is this sort of wooden with the grain and everything. Looks really nice. It's not a super thick board, but it's still, being that it's wood, it weighs a little bit. It's not really light. It's not super heavy, but it's not light either. Over here, we actually have these really nice little detail. The light side is represented by this little white hexagon thing right over here. And that same hexagon is part of the company's emblem. And then on the other side, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see it, but right around here, you see the dark one. So that way, because there's no notation on the board, as you guys can see, that way nobody's confused as far as where to set up your pieces. Or you can just always remember that the piece on the lower right side is always going to be light. Like this. Whenever you're setting up your pieces, if you have no other cues by which to go and you don't have any notation, just remember that this little square on your side, whether you're playing light or dark, is always going to be light. So that way you don't confuse. Because sometimes what we do is, if there's no notation, we may flip it like this, and then you realize that the light square is on the other side. And you start setting up your pieces accidentally, and then you feel like something is not right. Just flip it to where the light square is going to be on the right side. Okay? Yep, so that's that. We're going to go ahead and set up these pieces finally. This is the moment that I've been sort of waiting to share with you guys. I am like really excited. I'm excited because this particular chess set, among a few others, among a select few, was a chess set that I've been looking forward to owning for ever since I started this channel. You know, all the other chess sets that I've shown you guys, all the different ones that we came across, I mean, they were nice, all of them are. But for some reason, I've really been wanting to get this one. So I can sort of call this and say mission accomplished as far as this particular chess set, because it's just, I am like really excited. It's finally got what I've wanted, basically. So let me just set up the chess pieces here, and before we start losing light, because it does look like it's going to start raining again, I'm going to show you how this particular chess set looks, and then we're going to take a closer look at the pieces, compare them to the plastic chess set. here we are. This is what the chess set looks all set up with the light side being towards us. What do you guys think? I think, oh my goodness, this looks beautiful. This really does look really... I hope that the camera is able to really show you guys. Let me just grab the camera off the tripod, and I think I could marvel over these chess pieces all day. Like, look at these chess pieces. So beautiful. Such a nice arrangement, and the colors and the shape of all the pieces and how well they go together. This is beautiful. These dark pieces, look at that. If you guys hear my lens focusing, it's one of the older lenses, so I do apologize if you hear a lot of noise. It's just the lens is trying to... Look at these chess pieces from this angle here. Don't they just look lovely? Oh my goodness. Levy Rosman says, oh my goodness. This is a beautiful, beautiful chess set. I am super excited to finally have this. This was really one of the chess sets that I've wanted to have for a very long time, and finally I have it. This and maybe the DGT Bluetooth one that's retails for like $1,300. That was like the bucket list chess set that I wasn't gonna stop until I would have this particular chess set, and now I have it. I'm super excited. As far as how this particular chess set feels during actual play, all the pieces are nicely balanced. When I initially saw the pieces, I kind of, especially like when it came to the knight, I felt like maybe the base of the knight was a little bit narrower than some of the other knights I've seen, but it's still nicely that all the pieces are weighted, so there's a good amount of balance on the bottom of these pieces. You don't feel like any of the pieces are out of balance, or you know that they're like not well supported by the base, especially when it comes to the pawns. Some of the chess pieces that I've seen, if the base of the pawn is too small, then they kind of have a little bit of a balance issue. But in this case, I feel like it's just well made. You get a nice feel because you're playing on a nice fully wooden board. You get good resonating sound when you hit the pieces. And the amount of felt on the bottom is just enough to where it gives it a nice smooth feeling when you're just sliding your pieces. Very smooth sliding. And also if you're just picking up and putting a piece down, it also feels nice and soft when you're placing the piece down like this. So it's really quite nice in my opinion. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not really playing, but let's just, for the sake of showing you guys. Maybe here. See, now I got this part messed up. But anyways, really nice chess set. Really nice overall. Just feels good to play. It measures at 19 and I believe, let's see. It's like 19 3/4, approximately 19 3/4 inches. Same way, I'm assuming across. Yep, exactly the same way. The square size here is diagonally, it's like 2.75 and 2 inches widthwise. So it's a pretty big board. I really like the design of the board because you have these sort of you have a really nice outline. So the squares here, then you have this sort of a black line here that helps to visually separate the borders from the center of where you're playing. And then on the outside here, you have a nice thick border. It's really an aesthetically nice, minimalistic board. I really don't think they should have put the notations, which they didn't. I know notations might be helpful to some people, but I just feel like as far as the aesthetics of this board, it just would feel nicer if they made it this way without any numbers or letters or anything. It just looks nicer this way. It's plain, it's very beautiful. It's got, one of the things I like about it is just how smooth the pieces are. Like as far as sliding on this board, it's really quite nice. Okay. The light king and the dark king, we're gonna just go ahead and place them next to each other this way. Here we go, a little bit closer to what you guys can see. I think it's about 3.75 or so, if you guys can see those measurements. These here are going to be the plastic chess pieces. Yeah, as you guys can see, these chess pieces, the plastic ones, are a bit shorter. They still maintain the sort of the same cuts on the very top as we've seen with this one. We can kind of set them side by side here to kind of get an idea. But the finial is less, it's like more just in there. As you guys can see, it's sort of like just a continuation of the top, whereas here it feels like the finial has been glued in there, or it sort of creates a little bit of a separation at the very top. So that's one nuance. Obviously the plastic pieces are a bit shorter here. They're still maintaining the light and dark felt on these pieces. However, the felt here is going to be a little bit less thick. As you guys can see, like the difference in felt. The felt here is more natural felt, whereas the felt here is kind of a little bit on the foamy side, so a little bit thinner. So that's what we have as far as the differences between the kings. The queens here are also going to be a bit shorter, and then the top will look a little bit different. Like you still have this sort of same kind of angulation, the way it curves upwards. Similar shape, but if we look at the very top, we see that there's just more detail in the wooden one. Also, the wooden pieces feel significantly heavier than the plastic ones. The plastic ones are weighted a little bit on the bottom, but you feel a lot more like luxury feeling with the wooden ones, of course. Shape-wise, the bishops do look a little bit different. The plastic ones, the top portion here looks more what we're kind of used to seeing as far as the sort of like the way that it diverges up to the middle and converges. Not as bulbous as this one, but this is, I think, what they were really striving for with the design of this specific chess set. They wanted to create to where the top portion of the bishop's a little bit more sort of a wider, and it creates this sort of a quick divergence and then sort of a slow convergence towards the bottom. Almost makes to where the widest point of the bishop is not in the center, but more like a little bit more towards the top. And same type of cut for the most part, but the wooden one is going to be a little bit wider, as you guys can see. Wider, taller, a little bit bigger base. Just sort of a little bit overall larger chess set. Another reason why a lot of you guys were commenting and saying that you really think that the World Chess Championship chess set, this one, is so radically different, is the knight. I mean, this is very characteristic, this sort of really sharp angulation. And what essentially makes this whole chess set the way that it is, it gives it character. It gives it sort of this unusual feel. Everything else, all the other pieces, sort of, in my opinion, they play from the knight. The knight here is beautiful. It is very unique looking. It's got very cool looking lines, as you guys can see here. It's a wonderful looking set. And look, like as I'm turning it, look at the way that the light sort of hits the knight at certain, like right here. Look at how it reflects off the base here on the top. When they make these chess pieces, they have to realize like how the light's gonna be reflecting off of them. That will determine, in a sense, like the way that it's gonna look on the board. It's very important. All these angles are not just sort of made arbitrary. They actually have to test this and sort of figure out how that light will reflect. Look at that. It's beautiful. Here we see more of like championship plastic chess pieces. They look more what we've seen with like the German knight. It looks different. As you guys can see, substantially different. It's just smaller knights. This is just very standard cut. I don't know why they didn't went with like the cut that they have here, but maybe if they made the plastic ones as beautiful as the wooden one, then more people would just settle for the plastic one instead. But this is really, really beautiful. I would say rating wise, if I had to rate out of all the different knights I've seen, in and of itself, this knight, the way that it's made and some simple cuts and simple design, I'd probably give it like a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm really enamored with this knight. finally, we have the rooks right over here. You still see that they're following a similar design where we have that little bit of an extra kind of extrusion of this line here. But these knights are obviously going to be a little bit taller. And then the inside, interestingly, is if we look at the top of this rook and this rook, if you look closely, there's a little hexagon, the little emblem that's inside the center of this rook. We might be able to see it a little bit better with the dark one right over here. See that? But we don't see that inside of the wooden one. So that's another decision, I guess, that they decided to kind of make these look a little bit different. Really nice balanced rooks. Very, very nice. As much as I rely on my weight scale, it always seems to get away from me or get lost, but I did find it, so we're gonna go ahead. For those of you guys who are interested, and this is a very, very crucial point to some people, we're gonna weight these pieces and kind of get an idea as far as how much they weigh. 48 grams for the light king, 48 grams for the dark king. As far as the queen is 45 and for the light, and 44 for the dark. Bishops, light bishop is at 38 and dark bishop is at 38. So as we can see, they're really closely matched to each other as far as weight, and that is important, especially for real like significant tournaments. 41 grams for the light, 43, a little bit heavier, just by a couple of grams, 43 for the dark, 43 for the light rook, and 44 for the dark rook. Dark pawn is at 25, which 25 is a nice weight for a pawn, and 25 for the light. In comparison, the plastic chess set, 28 grams for the light king, 29 grams for the dark king, 26 grams for the light queen, and 26 grams for the dark queen. Bishops, dark bishop is at 20 grams, and light bishop, I'm assuming, is, yep, 20 grams. Knight, light knight is at 25 grams, and dark knight is at 24 grams. Rooks, light rook is at 20 grams, and dark rook is at 20 grams. Pawns, 13 grams for the light pawn and 13 grams for the dark pawn. So a difference of about half as far as the weight for most of these pieces. So there you have it, my friends. This is the official World Chess Championship chess set. I've been excited about making this video for you guys for a considerable amount of time now, and we've just been able to make it, and I'm over the top super excited. Now I just have to get somebody in here to play with me. So I just gotta call up some of my friends, and hopefully they'll be able to find the time to come over and play a few games. Yeah, so what's my final conclusion after, I mean, you guys know I review a bunch of different chess sets, and I've got to see a lot of different chess sets over time, so it's hard to get me excited about, you know, any new particular chess set. But this one is exciting for, first of all, for the aesthetic, the design. It's unusual. It looks really cool. It's sort of simplistic. It's got that sort of a Greek approach, because like the Greek and their architecture and everything, they made things simple. The facial expressions were simple, but yet it's very aesthetically pleasing. The lines and everything. It looks really, really cool, and I'm excited to finally have the opportunity to not only own a chess set like this, but also to show you guys. Well, anyways, be sure to hit that like, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.